I'm gonna be very careful on the questions I answer and how I answer them, because in the past, I have gone live and then had to take the lives down 'cause I answered a question a little bit funny, and I could again, I'm never a representative of my airline. I'd be very careful what I say, and one question I answered was a little bit, eh, so I did take the whole live down, but hopefully this one can stay. If you have no idea who I am, hi, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I am a husband of a scientist. I go live totally randomly. Right now, no one's here. If you want to know when I go live, you have to hit the notification bell and you get notified when I go live. Otherwise, it's just total random. It is a Tuesday evening at 5:23 in the afternoon on a in North Texas. Uh, I am working on my next video. It's almost an hour long. It's a long video. It's covering my trips to London and my trip to Tokyo Narita. And a lot went wrong on those trips. A lot went wrong on those trips. So this is gonna be my next video. It should be up on Thursday or Friday. Crazy long video. I tried making them separate, but it made it more sense to put them together. So I did put them together. Again, it's a long video. I am gonna put chapters in my next video so that you can skip to the parts you want to see, or hit pause and finish it after you do something. I am feeling much better now. No more sickness, thankfully. It was rough, and that last trip to Narita, not Narita, Incheon was quite rough as well. Thank you for asking and commenting. Hey, all is very well. So I'm working on my next video. It's an hour long almost. It should be up on Thursday or Friday. I'm gonna have one interim video discussing my schedule for next month. If you don't follow me on Facebook, and I don't blame you if you don't, I did get a line next month. So I'll be no longer on reserve for the month of January. I will be a line holder. Where am I going? Great question. Thank you for asking. I'm going to London. I'm only going to London next month. Scheduled anyway. I'm supposed to go to London 4 times. Of those 4 times, 3 of them are relief pilot trips, and one is a flying pilot trip. I'm a bottom end line holder, meaning I got the leftover table scraps. No one wants to go to London right now. It's half price cheeseburgers at Sonic tonight. Are you in? I'm not. I'm not. We had shepherd's pie from Costco today. Going to Envoy soon. What are you doing at Envoy, man? We're not picky. Any content you put up, I appreciate it, Kyle. I'm. Yeah, if you've been following me for a while, you know my videos are much longer than they used to be on TikTok. TikTok used to aim like 7 minutes, and now I average about 30 minutes per video. But I feel more freedom on YouTube to go longer, and I feel with YouTube it's easier for people to pause, come back to the video if they want to, and skip ahead. And I view YouTube, maybe because I'm old, as something you watch on TV or an iPad, and that's not necessarily your phone. So I feel a little bit more freedom to have a longer video than I used to. Hey, from Southern California. Any tips for regional airlines? What are you doing at regional airline? Do you remember taking your instrument written? Currently studying for mine on Friday. No, I know. I do know that I memorize all the answers though. Every written exam, especially the ATP written and the FOI for the instructor stuff, I memorize the answers. I am not that intelligent. I just hate those exams. Those are not easy exams, and those are very, especially the FOI was so abstract for me. I need to charge my phone. I just memorized all the answers. Straighten out. There we go. I did get a line. Pretty nice. Going to FO, hopefully DFW. So, Mr. Paluzzi, first thing is passing NDOC. Don't start studying your airplane until you're out of NDOC. I don't care if your buddy says, man, listen, Chris, my friend Sarah went through NDOC, got hired here last year. She said study memory items, flows, and profiles right away. No. Get through NDOC first. It's a lot. Learning how the airline operates. That is step one. There is a written exam for that. While you're in NDOC, talk to people in your class, right? Find someone that you can study with. Not someone you can be friends with. Someone you can study with. Those are different people. A friend is somebody to go hang out with and chill. Study partner means they know their systems really well. I might know procedures really well. We can help each other. Or they really seem to like to read books like that and study the same way I like to study. Don't study with a friend. Find someone to study with that you can study with. We get the drift from that. Your social life should kind of go away during your systems and during your whole ground school portion. I'm not saying ignore your family and friends, but don't try to go out with your friends on weekends. Kind of just chill. This is a a 60-day period of studying for your whole career. Now, I'm not saying don't look at the sun, but don't go party either. Get through NDoc, get through systems, get to SIM, pass it IOE, get through your first year, your every envoy, then relax once you're off probation. The 787 series interests you. It does, but I can't hold it in Dallas. I'm very junior, right? Now I can hold 787 in Philadelphia. I can hold it in probably JFK. I don't want to commute for an airplane. And they pay the same amount of money, right? Now, if I stay on the 777 for another year and a half, will fulfill my seat lock. And at that point, I can choose to bid 787 because by that point, I can probably hold 787 Dallas. But then it's to be a choice, right? Do I want to be probably a senior-ish, maybe 50% seniority on a 777 Dallas, or be like 85% seniority on a 787 Dallas? What's better? To fly a cool airplane, but be junior, fly an old airplane and be a little bit more senior. Shepherd Air. Nice. What do you think about crypto? I know nothing about crypto. Thanks for the information. Hope to see you. Yeah, hey, Chris, if you see me at DFW, coffee's on me. Also on DFW, here's a tip for you. When you actually get to the actual airport, on Tuesdays, on the end pretzels are 2-for-1 pretzels on Tuesdays for employees. When can we look out to see South Korea video? It'll probably be next week. Right now, I'm working on a almost hour-long video. It'll be up on this week. We'll cover my trips to London and to Narita. It's all in one video because over a 6-day period, I went from Galveston, Texas to Dallas, Texas to London, back to Dallas, to Tokyo, to LA, and then Dallas in 6 days. It was a lot. So that one I'm working on right now. Got you live finally. It's been very well. Yeah, my lives are totally random. So if you want to know when I go live, you have to click the notification bell, and then it tells you when I go live. It's never a schedule. It's just I used to go live upstairs, in my media room with a big green screen and be all fancy production. That takes time and effort. And this one, I can just turn my phone up vertical and then grab my microphone. I'm right now in front of my computer. I'm taking a moment from editing the next video. How many years did it take you from knowing nothing to becoming a FO at the majors? A year. Oh, at majors. Haha. So that's a weird term, right? Because like I know you mean major as in my airline I work for right now, but technically the regional I worked for was a major because they're so big. But my timeline went from March 2006 being a guy in a cubicle, May 2006 being a private pilot, October 2007 being a regional pilot, and then November 2017 working for my airline I work for now. Any reason 787 is so senior? It's the destinations. It's the destinations. So they go longer and further, right? They go to Australia. They go to China. They go places that we don't go. So and it's a bigger fleet, right? It's a growing fleet. They're still getting deliveries while the 777 we haven't had delivery in 10 years. So it's a growing fleet of aircraft. It's a nicer plane overall to a point. So, but again, it's just in Dallas, it used to be junior, and then it flipped sometime, and now it's more senior. If we go back to the Airbus for captain, do you think you'd ever go back to the wide body? I would, yeah, because I'm gonna have 17 years left in this industry, right? So, on my back of the napkin paper plan is to hang out on the 777 until I can hold a 3-day trip line as a Airbus captain, go bid Airbus captain, and then wait till I can hold wide body Dallas captain and then bid back to it. My projection is I can hold wide body captain in Dallas my last 5 years at the airline. So when I'm 60, I'm currently 47 years old. Do you know any other airline vloggers? Yeah. On YouTube, not so much. But for my TikTok days, I know Ben over at United, Andrea over at United, Kelsey Yoder over at Alaska, of course Morgan over at Southwest, and I think his name is Manny. Manny is over at Delta. Do you know if DW is junior for Envoy or SkyWest? I know nothing about SkyWest, but for Envoy, my understanding is you can get the base you want within 6 months. So even if you get hired at Envoy and you get hired, I think they have, I don't know the base they have anymore. I think it's Dallas, Chicago, Phoenix, and New York, maybe? Maybe not New York. When I got hired by Envoy, they had 7 bases. they went down to just 2 for a long time. I'm going to go to airlinepilotcentral.com, and it'll tell me what the bases are for Envoy. Someone's probably saying it right now, but Envoy Air. So Dallas, Chicago, Phoenix, Miami. So I bet Dallas is probably the most junior one. So it shouldn't be too hard. Is your airline going to get next gen 777? I think someone told me they would get this 777X. I haven't heard that personally, but I mean, if we get them, I'm already rated on 777, so it'd just be a training sheet. Wouldn't even be a sim portion, most likely. It'd just be a training sheet. Like when we got the Airbus Neos at my current airline, they got the Neo. Said, okay, hey guys, go fly the Neo. Here's a handout for the Neo. The differences, but there's no sim portion, the extra checking for it. Do chief pilots fly the same as regular captains, or are they the same pay to sit in the office in the different pilot ranks? So my understanding is, I can go be a chief pilot if I wanted to be one. I never want to be one, but you apply to be a chief pilot. When you apply to be a chief pilot, you leave the pilot union and you go to management. So you're still a pilot at the airline, but you're a management pilot. And that's different because you don't have the union protection that you did previously when you were part of the union. Because you're working for the airline now. You're a manager, right? They do go fly the line every now and then. They get paid a salary, and they get bonuses because they're management. I don't know how it works. Why do airlines care whether YouTube flight attendants and pilots reveal what the airline they work for, especially when it's obvious from the videos? Because they can never ever appear to be a spokesman for the airline. That's why airlines protect their brand. I can never say here at Coke Zero Airlines, this is how things are done. I'm being a spokesman for the airline. That's why. So it is safest to not even mention it. I never mention who I work for, right? Now, it's obvious. I fly at 777. I'm based in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, but I can't say I fly for Coke Zero Airlines and this is how we do things, because then I am representing the airline and I can lose my job. Gustavo Fring got older. Loved your pilot to pilot interview. Thank you. You're still thinking about making the switch to Airbus? I am. Oh yeah, if you don't know about that, I was on a podcast this week. Check them out on YouTube or your favorite podcast client. When you're over the ocean, who are you talking to on the radio? Great question. It is not ATC, right? I'm talking to a radio operator. So it depends where I am, right? If I'm going to London, it'll be in my next video. But there's, for the most part, 2 major centers. There's Gander and Shanwick. Sorry, let me load up the flight plan real quick, and I can show you the differences if it loads correctly. England Dallas works just fine. And show me the ATC sectors. So I'm going to highlight one real quick, and then I'll highlight the other one. So in the green section here, this is the oceanic portion of a flight. Okay, well, in this, and what was a green section there, that is the oceanic portion of a flight. That's Gander. So when I'm in this sector here, I'm talking to a Gander radio operator, if I'm talking about radio, or via CPDLC, via kind of text messaging on the computer. As we travel east, we pass 30 West. I go over to Shanwick. And Shanwick handles me. Again, it's a radio operator, not air traffic control. So if I want to request a different altitude or different routing, I ask them. They say stand by. They ask air traffic control. Air traffic control gives them the answer, and then they give me the answer. And so we were with Shanwick all the way until an exit point of the track. And on this particular flight, it was this fix here called Gum Up. Between here, the green portion, and the light blue portion, I'll be handed off to air traffic control. Over the Pacific Ocean, it's similar, but we're talking to mostly Oakland, California, San Francisco radio. For regional DFW, seems like trips out of all the bases, longer legs, cheaper cost of living. Yes, bigger city layovers as regional pilot. It could be, but again, I stayed in Manhattan, Kansas a lot. Manhattan, Kansas, and Grand Island, Nebraska. I was at my regional. Now, having flown both Boeing and Airbus, what one would you feature What one feature from each jet would you like the other one to adopt to be a better airplane? So the 777 and the Airbus are both fly by wire. The side stick is a great thing. The yoke is unnecessary. So Boeing, remove the yoke and get a side stick. And then for Airbus, I guess if the thrust lever is moved, it could be a little bit more useful versus because when you're on the Airbus, you have to the thrust levers don't move, right? So when you come in for landing, or if you want to disconnect them, you have to look at the center screen, and you can see where the thrust lever angle is and where the engines are. You have to match them up and then disconnect them for a smooth transition. Versus on the Boeing's, they move always moving the entire flight. How does a pilot become a check pilot? Evaluating other pilots. You apply. So you have to have a couple hundred hours in the airplane, right? And then you apply, and they accept you, and then they train you to be an instructor. And once you're an instructor, you can fly from either seat. Coke Zero thought you were fly for Kirkland. I do. Well, I do fly for Kirkland there, but I have no Kirkland memorabilia nearby. Which Airbus are you thinking of switching to? We only have one Airbus here, Airbus 320 series. We have 319, 320, 321. Darren just finished learning how to fly the Black Hawk, starting my fixed wing CFI after I get active duty. Tips for CFI, dude. Hey, Sean, first, awesome. I don't trust helicopters. I'm glad you do. CFI is weird, man. CFI is an abstract thing. Like I went to school to be a teacher, high school teacher. I love teaching, but the whole fundamentals of instruction and all this stuff for CFI is just weird. But that's just passing the book portion, right? As far as being an instructor, I'm sure the military has great instructors as well. Being a teacher is adapting to the student, and I find the best teachers, especially for teaching pilots, this teacher adapts to the student and not the other way around. So you got to figure out how your students are going to best learn and teach them that way versus I'm teaching and you guys got to have it figured out. Have you ever thought about flying cargo? Not once, not ever. Not for me. If the airline you work for gets the XLR, would you go back to the Airbus? No, we're getting the XLR. Um, I don't really care about. Yeah, I don't want to fly that Airbus overseas. This channel's about flying. After you're retired, do you still want to fly and not get paid? Nope. Hey, Darren, I'm a chai now. CFI. Like, you're a chai. Awesome. Congrats for being a teacher, man. I know you aren't a fan of a 777. Would you consider 787? No, 777's fine. I would prefer 787. Newer is always better. What's a good Christmas gift for a pilot who seem to have everything already? Thinking about someone based at JFK, flying to London and Amsterdam a lot. Um, hmm. If they don't have T-Mobile, you could get them a international plan, like an international SIM card, eSIM. I use giffgaff. Giffgaff. It's like $10 a month, and it works all over the UK, all over Europe. And that way you can have a local number and unlimited data. That's one kind of a weird thing to get. But an eSIM from giffgaff, it's very easy to get because it's hard to get a SIM card in Europe permanently. And giffgaff lets me have a SIM card permanently in Europe. What else would I want flying overseas a lot? A good eye mask, like I don't have any in here, but I have an eye mask that's a little bit concave by the eyes, so then it's not flat on my eyes. That's really good. La 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 la. That's all I can think off the top of my head. It seems like you have a lot of short layovers. 24. They're not short. Do you get longer layovers to enjoy the city? That's long, Ben. 24 hours is a long layover. It doesn't seem like long as a person who doesn't fly for a living. At my regional, we had 10-hour layovers. Even on rear Airbus, we had 10 and 11-hour layovers. 24 hours is a long time. 36 is too much, in my opinion. But if I want to go see a city again, I fly for free. So I can go back to the city and see, explore it. Good morning. Hope you are well. When are you going to Korea next? You know what's funny? I thought I was going to have to go to Korea on my next reserve stint because a trip opened up. And crap, and again, Korea was great. The flight was long. The video will be up in 2 weeks. But I was not ready to go back to Korea so soon. Thankfully, I'm not having to go to Korea on my next trip. But we'll have to see. You probably have to be based in the Northeast or Midwest to do XLR. Possibly. Hey, Tyler. Possibly. Unless they had bridge trips, right? They could have a Dallas to Philly flight overnight and then Philly to like Amsterdam, Amsterdam back to Philly, and Philly back to Dallas. Where am I right now? In DFNW, Texas. Hey, Darren, I'm making a career switch to commercial pilot and starting my flight training mid next year. In your opinion, what ground school subjects should I really focus on before starting? It's been too long. I can't remember what the ground school stuff is, but find a good ground school course. You can get the Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge right now for free from FAA. The Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, Pilot's Handbook of Aeronautical Knowledge, and the Airplane Flying Handbook, both PDFs, both free from the FAA. With how much total time did you start when flight started instructing here in my country? You need over 550 hours, which sucks. So when I started instructing, I had 250 hours total time. Any idea why Boeing uses a control stick instead of a yoke on the military cargo C-17? I don't know nothing about any military aircraft, but a lot of pilots think you need to have a big old yoke. Hey, sometime in your videos, you reference data that reflects your landings. Can you talk about that in a future video? It's I can and can't. It's a great app on my iPad. My airline has for me. I can review my landings. Like it has a recreation of every single takeoff and landing I do. That way I can see how far down the runway I landed, my performance data, and everything else. But I'm never allowed to show it. And it's a lot of legalese, but even what I can even talk about with it. So I'll have to read the legalese to make sure whether I can even discuss it or not. How important is quality of hours when getting to 1,500 hours? Doesn't matter at all. It would not look bad at all, Ahmad. Rahan Ahmad, no. If you can get an airplane, buy an airplane, find a buddy, and fly, fly, fly. Now, don't just fly around Kansas at 1,000 feet and autopilot on with the satellite radio playing. Make it fun, dude. Fly across the down country. Commercial check ride coming tomorrow morning. Cole, you got this, man. You're gonna nail Lazy H or Chandel's, whichever one you have to do. Remember, it's been a while since you had your last check ride. When you're doing a check ride, you set the pace. Don't feel rushed to do anything. Set the pace. You're flying with some old man, probably. You're flying with some old man. You gotta show him how you can fly the airplane. That's it. You're not being examined. You just gotta show this old man or old woman, shouldn't be a judge, or a person, how you can fly an airplane. Do your best to relax. Have a sense of authority about yourself. And even in the oral, set the pace of the oral. They ask a question, you think about it. Even if you know the answer. Hey, Cole, what color is this can? Red. Go down. This can right here, this can Coke Zero is red and black, has silver as well. And if you look closely, there's white on the barcode. Just take your time on answering the questions. I'll give you knuckles when you pass it. Among all the ultra long haul flights, which one is the most senior and why? Australia, because again, a lot of pilots on the wide bodies are looking for maximum time of pay for minimum time of work. Very quick example. I mostly do 3-day trips. A 3-day trip to Hawaii from my base pays 15 hours and 45 minutes. A 3-day trip to Korea, same 3 days, same footprint, pays 28 hours. So almost double the amount of pay over the same 3-day period, and they both have 24-hour overnights. Now, the Korea trip gets back later in the day, but generally speaking, whichever one has the most amount of flying and the shortest amount of time. Did you get a line? I did get a line for January. I got all London. I'll have a very short video coming up. I'll post it on YouTube. It's like a 4-minute video about my trip for my London line. What's the best thing you like about London? It's a giant city, and you can explore London for months and not see everything. Thanks, Darren. I'll find PDFs. Awesome. How's the Mac Mini treating you? Very well. Yeah, it's been very well. Final Cut Pro is still locking up every hour or two, right? But the Mac Mini is performing very well. It's a very, very good investment, and thank you for helping me get it, by the way, by watching my videos. How would your ideal schedule look like as a line holder on 777? Imagine you have infinite seniority. It'd be 3-day trips, 3-day trips one to Asia, one to Australia, and one to India, maybe. And India is Asia as well, isn't it? It is. So like Shanghai overnight, Sydney overnight, and maybe a nice Frankfurt overnight. Those would pay I would be 9 days working for about 85 hours pay with those 3 trips. Can you become a pilot if you have ADHD? I can't answer any medical questions whatsoever. You can check leftseat.org, leftseat.com. When you fly to England, how many hours is your biggest stretch sitting in the seat? Oh, 3 hours. 3 hours. Which, again, it's a 10-hour flight, gate to gate, but it's 3 hours in the seat. 3 hours in the seat, 3 hours out of the seat. That's a lie. Could be 6 hours. Depends if I'm FO or FB, right? So if I'm FO, I take off, I'm in the seat 3 hours. I take a 3 hour break, then back in the seat 3 hours. If I'm a relief pilot, then we take off, I take a 3 hour break, then I'm in the captain seat for 3 hours, and the FO seat for 3 hours. So still 3 hours per seat, but then 6 hours total on the flight deck. So depends what seat I'm in. La 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 la. Do you mostly study? I don't study very much at all anymore. Is every airline going to have single pilot operation? Not my lifetime. Why do you say mostly? I don't say very much. You got a line? I did. Is it my line next month? 4 trips, 3 relief pilot, 1 flying. Can I get a shout out to Lee Wee? I'm flying the cargo. Any advice to join the majors? Yeah, job fairs, the airline conventions, and then airline interview prep. So check out Spitfire Aviation. Quite a shame they canceled the 330s, the 350s. It would have been very cool. Yes. Have you ever considered doing a full form flight sim video updated and related to work? Just flying a plane and doing a similar. I did that in the past. I haven't tried it in any time. I did that like last year a bit. I haven't tried recently though. Can you give it's the most frequent topics social conversation in the cockpit for long haul flights? Yeah, where you're from, what your hobbies, your spouse hobbies, your kids' hobbies, overnights, contract stuff. Do you ever get to see the Northern Lights? I did. I saw them a few months ago going to London. Yeah. As a FB, when you are in the captain's seat, can you act as the captain in an emergency? Yes. And so it depends, right? The captain, when they leave the flight deck, they will designate whoever's in charge. And it's not always the FB. It depends. Sometimes it's the most senior pilot. Often it's the most experienced 777 pilot, right? I've been on board before where the pilot, the other FO was senior to me, but they were brand new on the airplane. So I was in charge, even though the other pilot is senior to me because they haven't the new 777. Sorry, and the normal captain spiel is, this is where I want to go in case of a medical. This is where I want to go in case of a mechanical. Wake me up if it's a major, it's a bigger, if you wake me up when you start diverting. Handle the emergency first, then wake me up. Not wake me up and then handle the emergency. Given the current pilot contracts at the Legacy Airlines, which one would you pick if you were living in New York City? I know nothing about the other contracts. I know mine. So sorry. We all have similar pay. Recently flew out of DFW for the first time, holding short of 1 8 left. Thought it was interesting how there were 3 spots. Yes. And we actually have different performance numbers for each one of those spots. How is the order decided? ATC decides the order based on, because we have a lot of departures, right? So it's spacing for the gates. The various gates you leave out of the area and size of aircraft, right? So they'll typically put all the heavies together because after each heavy, there has to be a weight turbulence delay if it's no normal airplane taking off. Period of awkward silence when we have all we're not about to say. There's an awkward silence. On my last trip, I was with a fantastic captain. He was a very happy person. Loved talking. Loved hearing his voice. Loves hearing his voice. Have you ever flown a commercial flight with your family on back? I have. I flew my wife and oldest kid when I was a captain at my regional. It is Happy Tuesday. Favorite GA plane? Cirrus. Could you explain how you're holding a line, but it's not all FO? I didn't choose that. It'll be again. I'll have a video and probably by tomorrow morning. But I'm a bottom end line holder. I got the table scraps. I am 30 numbers junior to where a line holder should be. I was holding my airline via software. Listen, I don't care what days I work next month. I want to do 3-day trips if I can. Please and thank you. And so when it got down to my seniority number, they looked and went, all right, what do we have left? Well, we got 3-day trips to London. All right, here you go there, buddy. And that's what I got. The one pilot junior to me also got a line. They got one 3-day Hawaii trip and 2 or 3 Buenos Aires 4-day trips, which I did not want because I don't. That Buenos Aires deep south flying ain't for me. Buenos Aires, beautiful city, great country. Don't like the flying down there as far as the over all night flying. It's different than flying to Europe or Asia. It's not for me. It's not for you, Jen. Not for you. How many Taylor Swift concerts have you been to? Just one. What is your favorite memory since starting your career as a pilot? Flying to George Bush Airport as a captain. So when I was a CRJ captain in Chicago, I grew up in Houston, by the way, and I flew at George Bush Airport a lot. So first time I got to fly to George Bush Airport was pretty neat as a captain. I mean, I flew there a lot as an FO on various fleets, but flying there as a captain was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Like, man, I remember sitting in the glass there looking at all the planes, and here I am at the captain of an airplane taxiing in. It was pretty cool. That, and then also flying my wife and kid around was pretty neat as well. Have you ever had a TCAS TARA? Yes. Isn't that very common? But probably had RAs that were legit probably twice, maybe 3 times, right? Have you ever gotten into an argument with another pilot in the cockpit? Yes. People are people, so why should it be? No, yeah, we're all human, right? Now, I wouldn't say argument. I had one argument. It was one argument. It was so my wife is a scientist, and this guy, the captain, brought up COVID vaccine and everything else, and I'm saying, and what he was saying was factually incorrect. And I'm saying, where are you getting your data from? Well, you just know, man, the news. I went, what news? Because what you're saying is factually incorrect. My wife is a scientist, and she explained this to me. What you're saying is factually incorrect, and I refuse to talk about this with you anymore. I'll talk about cars, solar panels, anything else but this. And he realized he had screwed up because the 2 jump seaters were like, "Oh, thank God," because it was in the Airbus, and the guy behind the captain was like, "Thank you." He said this, "Thank you," because he was just tired of this crap. Captain realized he screwed up, stopped talking about it. Great guy. He happens to own an RV park and has a ton of solar panels up. We talked about solar panels, and we got along great. And in fact, the next time I flew with him, I think he made notes. Next time I flew with him, he instantly brought up, "Hey, Darren, man, how are your solar panels doing? You get those batteries yet?" So it wasn't it was an argument per se, but we just quickly said, "You know what? I'm done with this. Something else," and we got along just fine. Do you know how the sim gigs in wait, hold on, sorry. Do you know how sim gigs in my company quality of life? I don't know. I know that we have instructors here. Oh, so you can be, by the way, if you're a pilot at all, you can teach at my airline. If you don't want to be, if you're like you're just a commercial pilot, I believe you can teach at my airline, the Airbus 73, whatever. Never having flown the Airbus 73, but we have sim Ps and instructors who aren't airline pilots, have never flown the equipment, but they teach us stuff. I have no idea how their schedules work there. Hand flying or autopilot after takeoff? Both. Depends on the situation. If I'm leaving Manhattan, Kansas, and it's a beautiful day and an Embraer 145, I'll hand fly for a long time. It's open airspace. It's not very busy. It's a low workload. If I'm leaving London, England, on a rainy day and it's a turn off 27 right for noise abatement, I'm gonna turn the autopilot on pretty quick. It's a quick turn. If we don't turn fast enough and the wind blows us out into the microphone area and we set off the noise sensors, we get fined. So it's busy leaving London, right? So I'll turn autopilot on a little faster. It depends on the situation. It's not a hard and fast rule I have. Leaving Korea the other day, leaving late at night. Oh man, I'm gonna show you the departure procedure out of Korea. We go extremely close to North Korea. You don't want to fly into North Korea. Hold on, let me pull up my thingy real quick. Flight plans, saved flights, RKSI DFW, load flight, and then zoom around to Korea. It's not showing me the departure, is it? Let's see, Sid. Oh, I don't know what we did. We did 3-3 left. And that one. Okay, it will kind of show it. So we can't really tell, but this dark blue line. This is North Korea. You don't want to go there. This is my departure procedure. It looked closer in real life, but you don't want to turn shallow and go into North Korea. That's how you get like things targeting your airplane. So when I took off out of North Korea or South Korea, I turned the autopilot on right before this big 90-degree turn, just to make sure the plane turned correctly and we didn't go into North Korea's. There's a line we could put on our MFD to make sure we don't go over there. I'm going to try non to Buenos Aires after Christmas because of your video and because there's likely space available. Awesome. Enjoy Buenos Aires. It is a long flight, and there are typically are open seats. What about other band artists have you been listening to besides Taylor Swift? I listen to a lot. Matt Nathanson, Brett Dennen, um, a lot of country music. I'm gonna pull up my YouTube music and just off the top of my head. It is a lot of Taylor Swift though. Liked music. Zach Bryan, Shabuzi, Post Malone, Kendrick Lamar, Kevin Gates, Olivia Rodrigo. That's a lot of Taylor Swift. That's a lot of Taylor Swift. And there's Tupac in there as well, and Outkast, and Dave. Any experiences crossing the North Atlantic given the recent changes in oceanic clearance requests? I have not done the new procedure yet. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see him next month. I'll go to London. You finish your homework? Finish your dinner. No. Go finish your dinner. Oh wait, what's your pie in the sky car you'd love to own one day? A Porsche Taycan Cross Turismo. How often? When do people talk on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on weather topics? Pretty rare. Most of the time we're talking about weather. Like when we're coming back from Korea the other day, when you're out over the ocean, you're not talking to ATC. We depend on other flights to figure out where the turbulent area is sometimes and where the smooth ride is. So we'll talk on the, hey, I'm 80 miles east of this fix. We're getting pretty rough ride. We got a really bad ride coming back from Korea. So most of the time it's just talking to each other, seeing where the weather is. Favorite airport you've been to? I'm not big in airports. How conservative are you with the seatbelt sign? Do you turn it on at any 10 hit turbulence or wait till it gets bad? Generally, it depends on what the flight attendants are doing, but generally speaking, if I can't drink my coffee, it's going on. When was the last time you meowed on? I'll never meow on that. That's stupid. That's immature. You spend a lot of time in hotels. Do you have any bed bug anxiety? Nope. We definitely wouldn't want to do that. We would not. Landing south into Incheon is always a wild time. I bet it is. Sneezed, and you thought you said you don't want to fly into North Korea. Oh, North Jersey. North Jersey, too. Jersey's kind of weird. Just kidding. What was it like your first time flying a jet? My first time flying a jet was Chicago to Cleveland, Ohio in December of '07. It was so windy and snowy in Chicago, I couldn't take off because of the limitations from the airline. And then flying back I did take off from Cleveland and then kept had land back in Chicago. A lot happened. The sim made it seem easy. The plane, there's a lot going on. Almost done. 10-year JetBlue guy here. Struggle with every captain I fly with being super political. How do you deal with the senior guys that you fly with? That's weird. That's very rare here. Now there is politics, but most of the time I don't bring up politics. But I'm not afraid to, right? You've been in the 10 years, so you're not on probation. I have no problem stating my beliefs, and if they want to state their beliefs, I can have an adult conversation. If they can keep it adult, I have no problem talking about politics. But they can't be adults. Then I'm like, okay, well, I'm done talking about this. Thank you very much, and I'll just be quiet. Good evening, everyone. Love the T-shirt. Thank you. Do you remember your first solo? I do. I have a Tesla Model X Plaid. I don't like it, and I want to get rid. I'm looking to get rid of it, but we have two Teslas here, Model Y and Model X, and we have a Chevrolet Bolt EUV. Looking to get something different though. Is there a site that lists job fairs? Every aviation group, OBAP, Women Aviation, NGPA, 99s. There's lots of them out there. Almost done with the live. You leaving? Okay. Have fun. That's a good turbulence gauge. I think so. I may have missed this in an earlier chat, but what do you think? Is the South Korea video come out? Oh, it'll be out probably next week. This week's video will be about an hour long, coming up on Thursday or Friday, covering my 6 days when I went from Galveston to Dallas to London to Dallas to Narita to LA to Dallas. And a lot happened. Medical emergencies, possible diversions, flight control issues, FMS issues, landing gear issues. It was a lot over 6 days. My most difficult approach was Tegucigalpa, Honduras. How do you prepare yourself for a red eye? So generally speaking, if I know I'm going to get a red eye, I will take a nap in the middle of the day. I have gotten really good at making myself sleep and tired. So if I know I'm doing a red eye, let's say tomorrow night, in the morning, I'll have 1 cup of coffee, and that's it. I love coffee. Then I'll do a lot of exercise, and then I'll get the house quiet. My wife works from home, not hard to do, and I'll take a nap in the middle of the day. I can make the room cold, put on my eye mask, and I can sleep middle of the day, take a good old nap. And then when I wake up again, I start caffeinating and I carbo load. Lots of carbohydrates helps me quite a bit. Do you like petrol cars? I do not. South Korea flight was long. And really, we had some nasty turbulence north, about 500 miles north of Hawaii. Like nasty turbulence. Like, hold on. Here we go. Finally joined the live. Oh, and I'm almost done. Sorry, Jeff. You're very welcome. What's your salary, take home, and a year current company? I've been here 7 years. I'm on year 8 pay. I think so far I've earned 347 this year. I think I'm at 347. Yeah. So I think I'll end the year at 350, maybe 355, or 350. 350. I make 292 an hour. I will apply again for the new year. Oh yeah, I have a lot of reserve days. I have like 7 or 8 reserve days left. So I'm going to be flying a lot for the new year. I wanted to ask, does it ever get boring or negative? No. You know, even a boring flight, if a simple flight to Austin, Texas, is always something new. Every flight is unique. Every flight is unique by themselves. So never gets boring. If ever gets boring, I'll start getting worrying. It can get repetitive, especially when I did my regionals flying 5 legs a day. But it never gets boring, thankfully. Every flight's unique. You always drink Starbucks. Are you prejudiced towards Dunkin'? Dunkin' is crap coffee. Starbucks makes consistent coffee, and they make it often. Dunkin', they make it like once a day, and it just sits in there. It's hot, brown, gross juice. It's very inconsistent. Starbucks is consistent everywhere I go. I don't mind your longer videos. Don't worry. Thank you very much. About to graduate high school. What do you think about college aviation programs? They're fine, but don't pigeonhole yourself into aviation. Find something else you can use to support yourself, right? If you get a degree in aviation and then all your ratings in aviation and you graduate and then aviation takes a dump, no one's hiring, well, how are you going to support yourself, right? I gotta talk faster because I'm gonna be done. Watch the podcast with you and Justin. Thank you very much, Justin. Oh, haha. Are there any hazardous attitudes you see some captains possess? Not at my level, no. Most are very cautious. First time catching you on YouTube, it's always TikTok. Hey, Mr. Slaughter, it's been a while. Almost done. This live should be going up because I haven't said anything I'm not worried about yet. Coffee in Argentina? Don't remember it. Best aviation YouTuber ever. Remember, it's all about consistency, not subscribers. It is. And that's why I stay on point. Except I will have a update video on my Equinox here soon. What do you think about what do you think happened to Spirit? I think Spirit will be okay. Hopefully. Ever did any flying to Lexington? I have flown Lexington a lot. We stayed downtown Lexington at a Hyatt next to a little mall, outdoor shopping area that had a Whole Foods and a big bookstore. And that's all I remember. How many subscribers do you have at the beginning of the year? Oh, like 700. Great channel. Thank you very much. Working on a commercial. Check out any tips. Lazy Chandels. I hate them all. Good luck on that. And last one will be, how important is flight physiology and instrument training? I'm dreading learning it right now. Don't remember. Well, as far as flight physiology, like how you feel is pretty important. As far as I don't remember what that term means, but you should always be healthy and have a good diet. Sweet. So a place you haven't been that you want to go to? Australia. With that, I'm going to be done. My name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. I make videos about aviation. I love aviation so much. I have new videos up typically on Thursdays or Fridays. This one will be on Thursday or Friday. This next video will be about an hour long. My next video will probably be about 5 minutes long about my bid for January, but my next long video will be on Thursday or Friday. My lives are very random. Click the notification bell to know when I go live. Have a great day, and as always, thank you for stopping by.